Hey, happy Monday. Miller Madison, Clark Quinn. I love you girls. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to go over my recent blog posts, uh, the federal funds rate. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and read it to you and go over a few things. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, the Federal Reserve System or Federal Reserve Banking System in the United States of America, it's a privately owned corporation with shareholders. And they're international shareholders, meaning they're not American, okay? Meaning the supply of our money is technically foreign owned, okay? So I want people to understand that. Um, what's happening around the world right now with the American dollar, and it's why families are paying so much at the grocery store, and it's why kids starve around the world, is because number one, nobody can wake up to the fact that it comes down to the money supply. Okay, how much food costs, how much shelter costs, and how much water costs you. Okay, families can't make ends meet. Even some of them working three part-time jobs. Like you can't make ends meet in this country. Okay, so if you're going to the grocery store today or you're going out to get a meal, be very thankful for that meal. I mean, every bite you take, you should be thanking the supply chain. Okay, and just know over 75% of our population in the world is malnourished and starving due to the money supply. Okay, and that's by design. Okay, and I, I wish more people cared, at the very least by speaking up about it. The amount of people I talk to about child trafficking, the money supply, children starving, and then homelessness, they don't care. They're like, that's not my problem. That's what most Americans say. That's not my problem. I don't care. My life is good. I have my job. I have my degree. I have my car payment. Okay. I have a bunch of debt sacked on me. Okay. But I'm doing well, and I don't care about how anybody else is doing. That's basically our mindset. Okay. So we need to find more compassion. Um, I urge you to go look into the movie. Uh, it won awards. It's called The Experimenter. Okay. He did experiments in America right around the end of World War II. Okay. He had a teacher and a subject, or a teacher and a student. Okay. And he wanted to see how many people on their own would get up and walk out of this test by just using common sense and it being knowing right from wrong. Not one person. He tested thousands and thousands of people, all different races, colors, creeds, political classes, socioeconomic classes. Not one person decided that shocking somebody up to, I think it was like 300 volts of electricity, they never got shocked. But the people that were administering this, if they got the answer wrong, they would shock them. Okay? And at any point, they could walk out and say no more. Okay? Not one person did. Okay, and it's called the obedience mindset. Okay, or the obedience psychology, meaning we're obedient, like we listen to whatever we're told. So can you see how brainwashed a country can become, or a populace, just by watching the news? I mean, that's it. That's all you need to do. If you watch news, I mean, you're gonna have a different perspective based on what those people are telling you. Like they've influenced your natural perspective. Okay. So I'm gonna go over the federal funds rate, my little spiel to start the day. Remember, 75% of the world is starving. Okay, I just paid now. I'm just getting by, but I'm still getting like this is what I love Starbucks coffee. Okay, this breakfast sandwich and this coffee cost over $11, $12. That's 1 hour of work for the average worker, and they still like well plus tax. They won't even be able to buy a coffee or a breakfast sandwich after working 1 whole hour. Do you get where we're at? So that's how bad the banks have they basically made any judicial officer, by making our money unconstitutional, they've made all judges in America in violation of the Constitution. Every single judge, it doesn't matter where you sit, on what bench, what circuit, how high up you go, you take the American dollar as a judge. Number one, it's a foreign currency. You're violating the Constitution. Number two, the money is not constitutional. It's unconstitutional money. Okay? Our money has to be redeemable for silver and gold and equal to the denomination of the money. So you give $10 to the gold exchange, they give you 10 ounces back. That's how it's supposed to work, or whatever the exchange rate is. Our money is not backed by anything, meaning, so judges, if they take an oath, if they put their hand on the Bible or the book, and they take an oath to uphold the Constitution, okay, every time they sit on that bench, they've committed a more serious crime than most Americans that go to court. Every time they sit on the bench. And then when they administer the law to you as a judge, okay, they're also they're not allowed to take a payment to administer the law. It's called a conflict of interest. Okay, so some judges get paid different salaries. Okay, okay, and they're not allowed to even take a salary from the government and then tell you your punishment. Okay, it's a conflict of interest because now they're it's like separation of church and state. And so I love judges. I know they're smart people, but like we have to wake up to these facts. Okay, so the money center banks and the Federal Reserve System, they destroyed our money supply, and it basically screwed up the entire legal system. Okay, because now anybody who wants to, all they have to do to walk into a courtroom is say, "Judge, did you take an oath to uphold the Constitution?" And hopefully they said yes. And if they don't say that, well then they shouldn't be a judge. Okay, and then you're going to say, "Did you take an oath to uphold the Uniform Commercial Code?" If they say yes to both those questions, okay, then you ask them this: Have you received payment in American dollars? If they say yes, they're now in violation of the United States Constitution. They took an oath to uphold just by taking that payment. Okay, they were defrauded by the banking system because most judges don't know this, right? They don't know that the American dollar is basically it's like cartel money. It's like worse than drug money. It's blood money, is what it is. It's our blood. It's many, 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 many lives of like literal blood, like soldiers, everyday people, violence across the world. Like the American dollar is blood money. Let's be honest about that. Like the amount of child trafficking that the American dollar produces, that's blood money. That's slave money. That's criminal money. It's cartel money. Okay, so I want people to know this and wake up to that. Just go read a book on the Constitution. All you have to do is read the Constitution and then go get this legal dictionary and read about our money, like just the definitions. And you can literally add up the words and yep, this isn't, yep, they're breaking the law. Every way you look at it. And it's their own laws they're breaking. Okay? So I want Americans to know that. The Federal Corrupt Practices Act, okay? A 1910 law regulating the federal election campaign financing and spending activities of political parties. So, soft money is the United States dollar is not backed by anything, meaning it's a soft currency, like just paper. Okay? The reason politicians are able to win elections is because they have the most donors or the most money. Now they're not allowed to take hard money. Any political campaign donation, it cannot be made with a hard currency. Okay, so the reason why they don't want to fix the currency, politicians, is because they make billions of dollars just off donations. Okay, that goes right into their bank accounts, and it's protected because it's soft money. It's not regulated by campaign finance laws. Okay, so that's how bad the banks screwed up. Okay, that's a federal crime. Judges, banks, court clerks. These are federal crimes that you're unknowingly or knowingly committing by just going into that courtroom and administering law. Number one, okay. And then politicians, we all know they're very crooked. Okay, and the reason why they do not have to pay taxes or pay or submit whatever donations they take is because it's not under the campaign finance laws. A soft currency, you can't be held to those same laws. Okay, and it says right in this law book. That's how I learned it. Okay, here's another big one: the federal funds rate. This is what I want to talk about. This is implemented in 1940. Okay, just before Pearl Harbor and the Battle of Midway. The interest rate at which banks lend to each other overnight, like when we're sleeping, okay, blinded by the light, another owner in the night, okay, the loans are usually made by banks with excess reserves to those with temporarily insufficient reserves. So if you just read that legal definition of the federal funds rate, you would deduce that the banks run out of money every night. They get a special interest rate to cover each other, right? Which creates more debt. All the interest rate is debt, like a fee. Like, when your bank charges like an overdraft fee, or you get a credit processing card fee. That's basically just another word for interest, fee, a fine, a fee-offment. There's lots of names: a scutage, a tax, whatever you want to call it. It all means the same stuff. Fraud, okay? Uh, and they devalued the currency so bad that if you go just read up on it, every major country in the world is getting rid of the American dollar. Okay, and that's why you're seeing prices go through the roof. Um, so the federal funds rate, okay, and if we did this as regular citizens, we would get charged with money laundering, tax evasion, fraud, illegal wire transfer, racketeering, price fixing, and many more federal crimes. Okay, the Fed wire. Here's another illegal governmental entity. The Federal Reserve's computer network that allows nearly instantaneous domestic, it's not domestic money, it's foreign, okay, and securities transfers among the Federal Reserve's offices, depository institutions, and the United States Treasury and other government agencies. So the banks and the Treasury, okay, the people with the real power, the money, they can literally create any amount of money they want at any given period of time, okay? It's an instant transfer. Like, they literally go on their FedWire computer network, the main computer, and they type in a number, okay, and it creates new money, like a magic trick, like a magic machine, basically. That's all it's an illusion, okay? The Federal Land Bank, okay, started in 1914. What was 1914? We were just about to go to World War I. We actually ran out of gold. The international bankers said, America, where is our gold? They didn't have any gold to produce, so we had to go to war. Okay, that's why young, innocent men and women go to war. That's the truth. Okay, it's not for any other reason than money. It's blood money. Okay, that's why it's simple as that. So when we go to war, every time it's because we need to print more money to fix our inflation. That's why if you see in the 1940s, they started printing $5,000 and $10,000 bills, denominations. That's how bad inflation is, okay? And it's not like we've ever truly reset the currency. It's since the year 1900, a chocolate bar in America the inflation has risen 15,000%. And you can do that simple math on your own, okay? You take the price from whatever price point you want to go back in history, the price of the product today, that's the true inflation. That's your American dollar. Now there's these indexes called the CPI index, all these inflation indexes that the bankers formulate to make it seem like it's not that bad. But really, it's atrocious. I mean, it's bad. And we have to wake up to this fact, okay? Basically, we all become obedient financial instruments for banks. Oh, that's the best way I can say it. We're obedient financial instruments, us people. Okay, that's why we only get to work jobs. Okay, that's really it. You have to work a job. You know what I mean? That's all you really have to do in life. It's called being a modern day slave. Until we wake up to the fact and say, no more. Let's fix this. Like, we don't need to operate our economy this way. A fraudulent economy that literally is shaped like a pyramid scheme. That's why they have the pyramid on the dollar. So you know that. That's why our Great Seal, the United States, and Great Britain, we share the same seal, the Eye of Providence. It's a Ponzi scheme. They're telling you, they're laughing at you right in your face. It's a pyramid scheme, okay? So the Federal Land Bank, 1914, we're just about to go to war, World War I. We run out of gold, okay? This one of a system. There's many systems of 12 regional banks created in 1916 to provide mortgage loans to farmers, okay? Under the Agriculture Credit Act of 1987, the system was merged with Federal Intermediate Credit Banks to create the Federal Farm Credit System. So in 1987, if you just read that legal definition, it says they merged. What happened in 1987? Another stock market crash. It's called Black Monday, okay? If you remember the movie Wolf of Wall Street, the 1987 one, or not Wolf of Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, they made another one for the next recession after that with Shia LaBeouf. The modern money never sleeps. But people forget. Remember Y2K, the dot-com recession? There was another recession there. So from 1987, Black Monday, the stock market crash, they merged banks. Now in 2000, they did the same thing with the FDIC. Okay, and you can go back and it's the table, 12 tables. Just go look up the 12 tables. They need to have it set up mathematically easy for them. Okay, that's why they set everything up in 12 different tables, because 12 is the most divisible and strongest number in the universe. Number 12. Okay, remember that. Okay, so this is just one of the system of 12 regional banks to create more credit or debt. The bankers have created a lot of schemes to keep things from falling apart. Um, since the year 1900, the United States dollar has inflated at over 15,000%. Uh, then every recession cycle, a lot of people are jobless, homeless, and they die from starvation. They don't really talk about that much. But like this is the type of stuff we should not be okay with as a society. If you know right from wrong, okay, as you knew as a kid, you kind of get it beaten out of you. The more you go to your job, like your routine every day, like that's all you care about. Like my dad, for example, okay, okay, it's all he cares about is his job and his image at that school. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about, and he goes to a church, and he doesn't care about kids starving. He doesn't care about kids getting trafficked, okay, because he's in his little world. Now that's America, millions of people across America. I don't blame you. It's like very hard to break away and do the right thing, but it's time for us to do the right thing. At the very least, you should speak up about child trafficking, how our money is fraudulent. It's basically monopoly money, okay? How the American way of life has been in decline, okay? Um, for example, if you have a $100,000 paying job and you have a mortgage, a car payment, um, and all the other insurance, house insurance, all the expenses that come with just having a house or a car, the maintenance. Okay, just those two alone, you most likely even $100,000 a year. Then you add on food, um, and any like little fun stuff you want to do in your free time. You're you're not even making it. Like I know it sounds crazy to say, but you're just like, where's my money, right? Every paycheck, where's my money? End of the month, where's my money? It's because that's how bad it has gotten. Like people in America that are making $100,000 a year are struggling. Now we've never had more homelessness in this country than at any point in history. Okay, and it can be fixed. Like we can just put them in hotels. Like here you go, you get a free hotel until we fix this. Like leaders actually fix this stuff. There's empty real estate all over the country, yet we have the highest homeless rate ever at any point in history. Okay, crime is on the rise. Um, you can go down the 18 statistical indicators of a country or a life cycle of a nation. Like we are in decline, whether you like to admit that or not. And I don't. I think we've lost our American pride. Like we lost our pride to be Americans, and we've lost the. It's like we always need a huge war or event to bring us together. For example, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, the Osama bin Laden thing. Like that stuff brought them. Like Americans were patriotic and prideful, like just by being American. And that should never happen by having to use violence. Like they had to let Pearl Harbor happen, like they knew it was going to happen, because they needed Americans to get behind the war effort. Okay, that's why they let our country get attacked. So I want Americans to know, number one, like wherever you're at in your life right now, ups or downs, if you're at a very good point or a very low point, okay, just know, like, please love your country, love your neighbor, like love each other to the point where we can at least talk to each other about this stuff and we start fixing it. Because nobody talks to each other anymore in America about the hard stuff. Like whenever I bring up child trafficking to people, or I bring up the Federal Reserve, the money supply, literally unconstitutional. Like it's not even abiding by our laws. Like, almost everybody doesn't care because their life is good usually, or It's just they don't ever want to change their norm or routine. They don't want to be uncomfortable. So I urge you to talk about it to people, um, and because your voice is the most powerful thing you have. It's more powerful than a gun, more powerful than a tank. Okay, your voice is. So I want you to know that. Remember, over 1 million kids in America go missing every year due to child trafficking, and we don't blink an eye. Like we just go to our jobs the next day, and like I was a big sports guy. I played pro hockey. Okay, like we go to Sunday football. Like you should see NFL Sunday, like night or a game day. Like why don't we have that same enthusiasm for children that are literally starving and dying? We go watch men and dance around in men in tights on Sunday nights. And there's something to it. Have you ever seen the movie Robin Hood, Men in Tights? There's a reason why the owners of these sports leagues, when they invented the sport, they made the guys wear tights. There's a reason why they made them wear tights, and you should read into it. Okay, but that's what most Americans care about is they watch their sports, which is cool, and then they got their job and their family, which is very important if you want to survive. So it's very hard to break out, and it's hard to do the right thing. Right now, we're not doing the right thing as a country. Okay, like if you go to one of these sporting events every Sunday, or you go to these hockey games where they make millions of dollars, and you just paid $500 to go to a game, I mean, you should probably sit back and like look in the mirror. Like, what can I do to help out a homeless person or a starving child or a kid that's been trafficked? That's the questions you should probably be asking. Like that's how we fix stuff. I wish I had all the money in the world because I would go give it all away. I would literally, if I had the printing machine the Federal Reserve has, I mean, nobody would be struggling because it's just they literally print money whenever they want, and it's not backed by any golds. So it's like we're playing Monopoly. Like I could give everybody in America $1 million, and it wouldn't make a difference. Okay, now a lot of rich people wouldn't be happy, or hockey dads, I'll call them. Yeah, hockey dads would be very upset if we gave people $1 million each because it's a status quo. It's like their status, right? So we got to put our egos aside and start doing the right thing for children, um, especially starving children and trafficked children. So I want people to wake up to that fact. The Federal Register is a daily publication containing presidential proclamations, executive orders, federal agency regulations of general applicability and legal effect. It's proposed and a proposed agency rule. Basically, it's like the federal government's newspaper, and I never knew it existed until last week. Okay, does anybody know? Have you ever heard of the Federal Register? Well, that's what they put out every day, and you can go look at what your government's doing and where they're spending money. They're printing it right in this Federal Register, and now we should be checking up on these people and holding them accountable. They're not the most honest or truthful people in the world. Okay. Okay, so that's the federal funds rate. Here's a fun word if you want to look up. It's kakistostraki. It means government by the worst people. And then if you look up the word calendar, okay, it means moneylender's account book. If you break down the word of calendar, cal means burn, okay, en means into, and then der means skin. Calendar. Burn into your skin the moneylender's account book. And they've done a pretty good job of that. Uh, Remember, the modern calendar didn't get started until 1700. Okay, we didn't adopt the Gregorian calendar until the year 1800 in America. So what calendar did we go by before the moneylender's account book calendar? We should look into that. Okay, here's calendarium, Latin, Roman law, a book of accounts in which a moneylender recorded the names of debtors and the principal and interest due, a written register of births and recorded daily. Now, they don't care about the deaths because they profit a lot off your death. Okay, they profit a lot off people dying, so they don't really write that down um, in their account books. So that's my little spiel today. Good show. Miller Madison, Colette Quinn, I heart you, love you, miss you. Um, if you got a court date coming up, the first thing you should ask your judge is, did you take an oath? Don't let them ask you one question, not even your name, okay, or her, okay? That's what they try to railroad you. You have more power than any judge in the world, okay? Ask them this question first, or her. Have you taken an oath to uphold the Constitution? If they say yes, great. Go to the next question. Have you taken an oath to uphold the Uniform Commercial Code? If they say yes, great. Now ask them, do you take payment in American dollars? Now this is the hat trick. If they say yes to that question, they're now in violation of both the Constitution and the Uniform Commercial Code. If you go to cornell.law.edu and you can look up the coding, they're not allowed. Judges are not allowed to receive money to administer law. It's in their own law books. So how are they allowed to take a paycheck and then, let's say they take a paycheck from a Democratic person or whatever. Their boss is Democratic or their boss is political Republican. Who do you think they're gonna like? You don't think there's conflicts of interest there? The judges have bosses too, okay? Even their bosses are in violation of the Constitution. I'm not kidding you when I say this. Every single judge in America, because of the money center banks and the Federal Reserve System, it's not like they know they're doing this, or some of them might know if they're smart. They're in violation of the Constitution. They're committing treason, basically, against the Constitution by not even trying to fix this. So, and I'm not trying to call all judges treasonous, but you're definitely in violation of the Constitution. Like, you violated serious finance laws too. Okay, now that's the three questions. That's the only three questions you need to ask. Okay, and if they say yes to all three of them, request a new judge. Say, I would like to request a new judge that doesn't take payment. That's all you got to do. And here's my next best advice to you. If you've been charged allegedly with a crime, okay, they tell you you have one or two options. You have to plead guilty or not guilty. Well, that's not true. Go read the Constitution. Go read a law book. You can say nothing. Like, you don't even have to show up to court, because once they want you to plead. Okay, that's like an animal. Like, you're pleading. Okay, and it doesn't matter not guilty or guilty. As soon as you make your plea, okay, now they can charge you. Now they can go after you. They can't do anything to you until you make your plea. Nothing. It's not a crime to withhold a plea. Okay, that's what Americans need to know. The little tricks and trades of the law. Okay, love you. Have a good day.